next speaker is Dr. Sushmita Shah, an excellent surgeon and a very caring physician. It's a pleasure to have you on this panel. She is going to speak now on the tenoplasty in severe chemical injuries. So over to you, Dr. Sushmita.
Yeah, thank you very much, Arvind, for that kind introduction. And it's a pleasure being a part of this session. So I shall start with this case of a young male industrial worker who was referred to us. This was about a decade ago. And the patient had unfortunately got exposed to molten aluminum while at work. And he had undergone an amniotic membrane grafting after about 6 weeks of the episode by the referring ophthalmologist. And since that amniotic membrane grafting did not work, so he was referred to us 3 weeks after the amniotic membrane grafting. Had a visual, still had a hand movement vision, and you can see the clinical picture: diffuse corneal melt with a large central perforation. So we did a tectonic keratoplasty with a central tarsorrhaphy. Surgery was uneventful. However, hypotony persisted, and this eye became prethysical, and eventually we lost the eye. So that brings us to the question that I'm going to address in this talk. What do you do when amniotic membrane alone, transplantation alone does not work? So coming to tenonplasty in severe chemical injuries, this technique was first described in a Lancet paper in 1995 by Dr. Kakelhorn from Germany. What this technique they proposed was that if you mobilize the tenon capsule, which has a rich vascular supply from the deep orbital tissue in eyes with schirocorneal ulceration, and secure them with 9-0 Vicryl sutures, you can take care of the conjunctival and the scleral ischemia and necrosis that follows following severe ocular burn. So in their series of 64 eyes of 50 patients, they following tenonplasty, they noted close to 80% conjunctival epithelialization in 80% cases in 3 weeks, and in all 100% cases over 5 weeks. The fornices were maintained in 78%, and symblepharon was noted in only 22% of the eyes. This was another subsequent paper from that group, and it's a very simple diagram showing how they mobilized the tenon from the periphery, from around the extraocular muscles, and secured it perilimbally. You need to secure it about 1 to 2 millimeter from the limbus, and that is how it helps in maintaining limbal and as well as the avoiding scleral ischemia. Now, why and how? Why and when? So chemical, because of chemicals, you can get chemical induced conjunctival and episcleral ischemia that leads to severe scleral ischemia, and there could be necrosis of the conjunctival tissue as well as the episcleral tissue, leading to inflammation. And the late manifestation of this is scleral ulceration with threat to the surviving limbal epithelial cells. There is also ciliary body ischemia and hypotony, and then that is the end of the road for the eye. We lose the eye once the ciliary ischemia and hypotony sets in. So these are 4 images from this published paper from Shankar Netralaya by Dr. Iyer's group. As you can see, the leftmost picture, there is a small area of scleral ischemia, which is it is highlighted with the help of a yellow marking. The remaining 3 images on to the right show much more higher degree of scleral ischemia. So what the authors describe is how do we approach these cases? Well, the first one, which is very mild scleral ischemia, we could always observe, maybe do amniotic membrane grafting, and also do manage conservatively. But the other 3 with severe scleral ischemia, they definitely need tenonplasty at the earliest. So just to compare between amniotic membrane grafting and tenonplasty, what works where? Amniotic membrane grafting, it promotes epithelial differentiation and promotes epithelial healing, had a little bit of corneal anti-neovascularization effect, and most importantly, it is anti-inflammatory and anti-fibrotic, and it is advisable in grade 2 to grade 3 burns as far as the Roper Hole classification is concerned, and also for the higher level of burns in the Dua classification. Tenonplasty works very differently. It brings in vascularization to an ischemic sclera. It helps in epithelialization of the conjunctival epithelium. It is also helps in epithelial healing in eyes with failed single or multiple amniotic membrane grafting, and it is indicated in grade 4 burns of the Roper Hole classification or the grade 5 and grade 6 burn of the Dua classification, and you often have to combine it with the amniotic membrane grafting. And sometimes in cases of large scleral ulcers where the amniotic membrane grafting may not be alone and stenoplasty and amniotic membrane grafting may not suffice, you may also need to put a mucous membrane graft. Now coming to a few cases, this was one young male, again a bilateral acid injury following a blast at the workplace, and the referring ophthalmologist had done an amniotic membrane grafting soon after, but the scleral ischemia persisted, so this patient was referred to us. He was grade 5 Dua classification when we saw him about 10 days later, so we planned a bilateral tenonplasty along with the amniotic membrane grafting the same day. A short video. As you can see, the eye is very, very ischemic. And as we cut, when we excise the, the damaged tissue, you can see that there is absolutely no bleeding happening, which essentially indicates that this is all dead and necrotic tissue. So when we do surface reconstruction in such cases, it is very important that we excise all the dead tissue. Leaving those behind on the surface really does not serve any purpose. So you need to excise till you reach a point where it starts bleeding. Now we have, as you can see here, we have hooked the inferior rectus muscle and we're using the 4-0 silk. You could also use the eyed muscle hook. The necrotic tissue is being excised. I'm sorry about the video is running little in a sluggish way. Some bleeders need to be cauterized if required, but please don't do over cauterization. Now, as you can see here, we are separating the tenon from the underlying, from the overlying conjunctiva. And this tenon is then brought and secured near the limbus, around maybe just a millimeter away from the limbus, using 7-0 Vicryl. Then we put a amniotic membrane to drape the entire corneal, entire ocular surface. We secure the amniotic membrane all along the limbus using circumferential sutures using 10-0 nylon. The peripheral edges of the amniotic membrane is secured to the surrounding conjunctiva using 8-0 Vicryl. And this is how, these are the immediate post-operative photographs about 2 months. As you can see, the surface is vascularized and there is no symblepharon anywhere. And this is the follow-up of the same patient close to 2 years later. He had 612 vision in the right eye with partial LSCD. The left eye vision was 636. Here also there is some partial LSCD with some retained amniotic membrane and also had some anterior subcapsular cataract. This was another gentleman, 36-year-old, who got exposed to acetic acid while at work. The right eye, the exposure was much more than what was there in the left eye, and had a finger counting vision in the right eye. And following fluorescence staining, we could see that the right eye, it was grade 5 as per the Dua classification, when the left eye was better off, it was grade 2. So left eye we continued with the conservative management, and right eye we did the tenonplasty along with AMG. Here I would like to reiterate the importance of staining and looking at the total ocular surface while you're evaluating the patient in the clinic. Unless we do a careful examination, you will not be able to get a proper grading of the injury, and that is extremely important to determine the management plan. So these are the two eyes. The right eye, you can see we have been able to save the ocular surface, so there is LSCD. Fornices are good. The left eye did very well. The right eye, we advised him to undergo a slat, but patient was subsequently lost to follow-up. This is another young male, as you can see, an extensive burn involving his entire face and upper body, and also both eyes. So he got exposed to DMAPA, which is an alkali, and the amniotic membrane membrane grafting was done by the referent ophthalmologist the very next day. And in spite of that, when he was referred to us 1 week after the injury, he had just PLPR vision and grade 6 injury in both eyes. Amniotic membrane was dissolving. The right eye already hypotony has set in. So we did a bilateral tenonplasty with amniotic membrane grafting as well as a lateral tarsorrhaphy. Unfortunately, we could not salvage the right eye and it became pre-thicical. We could somehow salvage the left eye, which PLPR vision fornices were good, but there was 360 degrees LSCD. And after 1 year, type 1 Boston keratoprosthesis with lateral tarsorrhaphy. So this is how he looks. He has a vision of 6/60 N6. So this is what has been very specifically, by Dr. Geeta Iyer from Shankar Netralaya, that if you are able to save the globe at the time of the acute injury using procedures like tenonplasty, you can always rehabilitate the eye later on with a Boston keratoprosthesis. But managing these eyes at the time of the acute injury is really critical. So to summarize, detailed clinical evaluation is mandatory to delineate areas of epithelial defect and ischemia following chemical injury. Tenonplasty may be effective in salvaging eyes with severe chemical injury by increasing blood supply to the ischemic tissues, and it acts as a globe slaving procedure for subsequent visual rehabilitation. Thank you very much.